AstraZeneca is on the move today after posting mixed results for the first quarter, missing revenue estimates but beating on EPS. The pharmaceutical giant reiterating its 2025 guidance and says it's committed to investing in the U.S. as the industry faces tariff threats from President Trump. Joining me now, we've got Pascal Soriot, who is the AstraZeneca Chief Executive Officer, and Yahoo Finance Senior Health Reporter Anjali Kamlani. Pascal, great to have you here with us this morning, and thanks for taking the time. You're actually calling for no additional U.S. levies on pharmaceuticals. What is the plan and the analysis per AstraZeneca on that potential tariff threat?
Brad and Madison, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. We believe that the best way forward is to not charge tariffs on pharmaceuticals, but create an environment that attracts investment through an attractive corporate tax rate. That's a general comment because as a company, we have a very broad manufacturing footprint in the US. We have 11 manufacturing sites. We manufacture small molecules, large molecules. We even have 2 large recent investments in cell therapy manufacturing. So we are relatively self-sufficient. The great majority of our products sold in the US are manufactured in the US. We actually export from the US. And there's a couple of products we still make in Europe, and we are moving that manufacturing to the US very rapidly. So we are not really affected by this to a great extent. But certainly we believe that a great environment of supporting investment in R&D and creating an attractive tax environment would help attract investment.
Pascal, Anjali here. Good to see you again. And I've heard you say, especially on the call this morning, about the sort of lack of long-term impact here. But you've also been pushing a lot for the European regulators to pay attention and for governments to pay attention to this tariff move and its impact really in the continent. And so I wonder, how does that really mix with your focus on moving to the US, but then also as someone who is European, looking at the local sort of domestic picture, and why the push there rather than rely on those US exports?
Yeah, it's a really great question, Anjali. I think you've got to start from what are we trying to achieve as an industry. We are here to come up with innovative medicines. And in the last few years, 5 to 10 years, the innovation in our industry has exploded. There's a whole series of technologies that are bringing new medicines and make the day when we can cure some cancers not that far away. But to get there, we have to have as many countries contributing to the global R&D effort. And the problem we have is that a large part of our innovation effort in our industry is actually funded by the US. So our view is that Europe has to allocate more funding to innovative pharmaceuticals. A greater share of their healthcare expenditures should go to innovative pharmaceuticals so that Europe allocate a greater share of their GDP to this innovation, just like they have to allocate a greater share of their GDP to defense as well. Similar mechanisms, we have to have a rebalancing of investments, and Europe has to contribute to this innovation effort, and it can't be only the US funding it.
Fair. And on that innovation point, I know that you're also in the obesity space. I heard Aradhana say earlier that if you get your oral to phase 2, you're going to start thinking about how to build out capacity. Is that an uncertain picture right now when it comes to US versus ex-US market, or are you looking at just focusing on the US right now when it comes to that? And as a follow-up to that also, does Pfizer's removal from that race sort of give you momentum?
Yeah, 2 great questions. First of all, the manufacturing part. We've been investing in manufacturing in the US, in China, and in Europe. But of course, the US is our #1 priority because it's a larger market, lots of unmet needs to address, and also a very strong innovation sector. So we will continue to invest in manufacturing, but also in R&D. We have 2 very large R&D centers, one near Washington and one in Kendall Square in Boston, in Cambridge and Boston. So we will continue to make those investments. In particular, we will invest in the US for the manufacturing at scale of our obesity portfolio of products. So, this will remain a great priority for us, both from an R&D perspective, but also from a manufacturing perspective.
Pascal, you mentioned that pipeline as well here, and I believe you talked about this on the call too. How, as you're evaluating some of the roll-off of patents over the next few years here, how quickly do you expect some of those pipeline investments to be accretive to the business, given the patent cliff that much of the industry faces over these next few years?
It's a great question, Brad, but we don't have a lot of patent expiries over the next few years. We have a couple of patent expiries that will affect us, of course, but we have enormous momentum in the rest of our portfolio of products. We have today more than 12 blockbusters, or blockbusters being defined as a product that sells more than $1 billion a year. And they're all growing, and we have new indications supporting their future growth. We also have new molecular entities. This year we will have a large number of new clinical readouts, new products, new indications. So we believe by the end of this year, people will be able to see, investors will be able to see whether we are on track for $80 billion sales by 2030 because of the momentum they will see in our top line, but also because of the delivery of our pipeline, which so far has started very well. We've had 5 successful phase 3 readouts so far this year in a matter of 3.5 months.
AstraZeneca CEO Pascal Soriot, thank you so much for taking the time here with us today, and a big thanks to our own Anjali Kamlani.